Hello, it's Andrew Rotten, editor-in-chief of TechRaptor. I'm here with Andrew Stretch. We're here to talk about Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Just a quick note: we have three other videos that go in a little more in depth on the various classes, Mage, Warrior, and Rogue, to check out. So we're not spending too much time on combat in this video, but we're going to talk mostly about an overview of a bunch of stuff in the game, various systems, the character creator, how you can customize your character, what exploration looks like, some dialogue stuff, see what the choices look like, that sort of stuff.
This is everything not specific to like just the actual act of combat.
Pretty much anything I ran across in my footage that's like, yeah, I can throw that in there. People might want to see. So we're just gonna get into it. I figure we start with the character creator. That's where everybody starts, and we'll see how that goes.
Excellent.
So you have your four classes, and you could kind of like this character creator is nuts. It might be one of the most. It might be the most expansive one I think I've ever seen. The amount of stuff that you can do with it is pretty wild. These four classes, nothing new here.
So I see that for the dwarf, they can't use magic. Are there other like key aspects of the other classes that are new to this one versus the previous
No,
iterations?
so that's always been a thing with dwarves. It's a big deal, part of the Dragon Age lore. But like, so I'm not a big character creator guy, so I was just going through looking at what things did. Some people like, well, these percentages will mean a lot or whatever, and using this triangle will totally make sense. I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I'm just checking stuff out because like it seems like you can have a triangle of three different head shapes and morph between the three, like which one's more prominent is kind of thing how
Yeah.
this triangle works. And they have a lot of stuff like that where I'm just like, dude, I'm sure you can get. We're gonna see some perfect recreations. I'm sure of Shrek will be out there day one. I'm sure
Hell yeah.
somewhere, and whoever else will show up.
Yeah, not to spoil it, but I'm pretty sure I saw that there was a slider that you were giving me a glimpse of yesterday that's specifically for left or right cauliflower ear.
Yes.
The detail in the breakdown is pretty
Yeah.
spectacular.
Well, I show a couple menus just to give people an idea. You could spend, like when I was at the preview for this, they said, hey, so if you want to see the rest of the gameplay, like only spend 30 minutes in the character creator because we know you could probably spend 2 hours. And I'm
Only
like,
30
oh,
minutes? Gosh.
yeah. They said limit yourself to 30 minutes because you might cut into your gameplay time. And me, who doesn't know a lot, I was in the character creator for like 20 minutes. But so you do a bunch of complexions.
42 different
vitiligo.
complexions.
You can
That's
get in there. Yeah, like
wild.
various birthmarks, and obviously just skin tones and like the freckle, like a bunch of stuff. And I know that it's not in this menu. It's somewhere else where you choose like body skin tones and stuff. They have various other like skin conditions people might have that are beyond like the vitiligo stuff here. That show up just because they're when I was talking with the director of the game, they're big. They're really big on wanting to let people play as they wanted to and be who they wanted to be. That's a big part of the thrust of the design philosophy of Veilguard. So they put in all kinds of stuff. So knowing that like less than 1% of players are probably going to use a bunch of these customization options, which is pretty cool. But there's one part in here. I think it's towards the end of this where you can basically balloon up your head. You can make a Martian, is what I'm saying. Here we go. You can mess with the scalp, like how flat you can make a cone head, go down. I was like, this is wild with the stuff that you can do, and like in any direction, like just totally morphs the skull. There's the cauliflower ear stuff. So you can do cauliflower ear. I'm not sure I put it in this video, but like you can put like there's a cataracts for people that you could put on your character. There's so many just little things that you might not even think about unless you have like cat, like, or some of the cat, like something that that would stick out there. Like, oh, I guess people do have that.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that the devs talked about it is that they wanted this is essentially the same creator they use for any character in the game.
Oh,
We're
that's
using
fun.
more or less the same tools. They said we use the same stuff. So
God, the
how they
hair
would
looks
come,
so fucking pretty.
dude, the hair is that's why I spent a little time showing all these hair, like it in movement. It looks great. I wish I had a better video of it, like moving. But I think IGN put a thing out where they specifically like call out the hair. That's pretty good. But the hair is insane.
Like everyone looks like they should be in a shampoo commercial. Like it's just
Yeah,
it's
look at
so
that.
good. And like the little like bounce when it spawns in is also so satisfying to watch. What the hell?
It looks so good, so natural. It's especially with Dragon Age as well. Like getting dunked on in the past for having really bad hair, like looking just like it was just flat to your head. It was bad news. So yeah, that's creating the physical look. Here's where you can choose your class. Obviously, mage is locked out to a dwarf. Can't
Mhm.
choose them, but you can choose a warrior or a rogue. You can see the different specializations for warrior, kind of what they mean. It takes a while to get those specializations to like level 20, so you'll be playing a while before you get to see what those do.
Yeah, I think we spoke in one of our other videos yesterday that you unlock those classifications at level 20.
Yeah. So,
So,
in if you want to see more of their like skill trees and stuff, check out those videos.
mhm.
So part of this is your backstory, which will be tied to the various factions of the game. So, like, are you going to be a Grey Warden? Are you going to be one of the Mournwatch people? And those, as you can see in the bottom right, they give you various benefits. Like this one, if you're one of the crows, you can hold an extra potion. Or this deals more damage versus mercenaries. Takedowns take less effort. Stuff like that will show up. This gives you just a little bit of a backstory to your character, whatever one you pick. And this is one of the coolest things. So they have a really cool like difficulty system. Obviously, this is the basic, like it just things ramp up. But they have a customizable one where you can make it whatever you want. Like how much damage enemies do, how much health they do, all kinds of stuff. You can craft it to whatever you like
So you can kind of make it like a one-hit challenge where they deal a
if
whole
you
bunch of
wanted to.
damage, but like you also deal a whole bunch of damage.
Yeah, if you felt like it. But
I'm glad you're here. All right, you brought
all
me
right.
to talk.
So I put this in. This is a little clip of you talking to Solus.
Or as you would call
This
them,
is right after the
creatures
prologue that they showed,
that escaped.
where you interrupt his
Rule the elves,
ritual.
but that was not enough.
Right.
They sought not just to be obeyed,
Um,
but to be worshipped.
so if
When I rebelled,
this just gives you a little bit of a
light, corrupted
insight into
all
what the
beasts,
game is about, like the overarching thrust of it.
I am now trapped, and the blighted elven gods walk free.
This is part of the dialogue wheel. I'm going to talk more about the dialogue wheel a little later, but you can see those little icons are like the tonal kind of
Thanks to me,
what what
I wasn't the
what
one
kind of
who
tone
made
you're
the
going for when you
choice to free them.
choose it.
Free them, my mortal enemies. I was ensuring that they
Of
would
course, it was not as we thought.
You were tearing
Solus was a good guy, or was he?
I
Who
had a
knows?
plan. Varric always said you'd have a big explanation for why none of this was your fault. Varric? Yeah, he said that's your style. Never quite lies, clever half-truths that let you convince yourself you're doing the right thing. He tried to talk to you anyway, and now he's hurt. Varric is quite practiced at shading the truth himself. So those things that got out, you said they were gods?
Yeah, old elven gods that are
They said they
not
were
great,
gods. Blighted, tyrannical, sadistic gods.
that have been corrupted by the blight.
It took all my power to imprison them millennia ago, but I am certain you will be fine.
So yeah, with those dialogue options, you can be like, okay, I'm distressed. I'm going to be defiant. I'm going to be pissed off. I can go for the humorous route.
What else could I possibly do? I do not have my ritual dagger. I do not have the network of mirrors that took me from the lighthouse across the world. I have nothing as the gods threaten this world again. All because you disrupted my ritual. You mean when I stopped you from covering the world with demons? You will soon see what I was trying to prevent.
Oh boy, lots of moral ambiguity getting thrown your way.
Yep. So now we're figuring out how much did I really mess up. So now we're in the lighthouse.
Okay.
The lighthouse is your hub. This
Okay.
was Solus's hub that he was using to get around the world. And you got all kinds of stuff. I was just showing this wardrobe. Like, there's a shit ton of just armors. Like,
Yeah.
that you can.
Those
they
are
can
like transmat options.
yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of them. So yeah, lighthouse. This was Solus referenced it. This is how he also got around. I was showing this. The codex. There's like a million things in there you could read. So much about the lore. It's crazy. Like, it's already comes baked in with a ton of it. Like, hey, you want to know the history of everything in Dragon Age
Yeah.
already? All right, here you go.
Jesus.
If you wanted to catch up, there's a bunch you could read.
Yeah, so after you spent 3 hours in the character creator, then you get to turn around and spend 4 hours reading a novel, and then you're allowed to start to play the game.
So yeah, this is the lighthouse. This was also Solus's base of operations forever, and how he would get around. Because this is a place in the Veil. It's kind of a little bit of a sanctuary that is connected by these mirrors, the Illuvian mirrors. This is what Balara is repairing at the moment. That big mirror.
They distort reality no matter what you try.
And
Control that distortion.
this will be like kind of how if it's like a mission-based game in a sense, this is where they all start.
Okay, yeah.
In a way, because you'll then venture out from here. And there'll be a screen that'll show in a little bit that has like you're picking your party members as you go out on the quest or whatever you're going to be doing.
Didn't Morrigan say this Illuvian could go anywhere? Didn't think that meant elsewhere in the Fate.
Yeah.
She called it the Fear of Us, freedom of ways. I wonder.
So they're talking about this place called the Crossroads. This is why in one of the videos, I can't remember which, it might have been the Rogue one, maybe the Mage one, you were asking me, is this open world or what's the exploration like? It isn't open world, but there's a bit of some open world exploration in the game.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll come back to the Crossroads in a moment. This is the rest of the lighthouse. So like it expands. I don't have footage of it. It expands later, like with more people that you get in your party. They all have their own like little room. Yeah, so I included this dialogue, this conversation with Harding, just to show a little bit of the dialogue options, kind of how it works. Because these are just like these companion conversations that you don't have to have; they're optional as you're running around the lighthouse. But it's if you're wanting to, what's the right word? If you want to level up or empower your companions, you're going to want to do these.
As I continue to try to pull references from every single video game I know, is this kind of like in Mass Effect, how you'd like make sure that like after a mission you'd like have a quick chat with everyone to like have a chance to build up your relationship?
I think there's some of that, yeah, because like you have a I don't know if everybody's gonna have something to say after every time. Like with this, Harding's has some weird shit going on where after the dagger stuff, she is now having she has magic abilities which no dwarf has ever had. And not only that, but she had a dream, which dwarves don't dream.
Oh.
Which is strange. And like if I was playing a dwarf character, I would have mentioned it also, like, yeah, I dreamed also, and we'd both be like, whoa, that doesn't happen.
That's cool.
So stuff like that. So interesting things happening with them. But so like you have a friendship level. They don't necessarily gain experience like your character does, like, you know, killing people or fighting, or doing quests and stuff. It's all about how if you use them in your party, if you talk with them, like building, like just basically spending time with them more or less. So doing stuff like this.
Yeah. And then I assume also like picking those people as party members will likely
Yes.
increase that relationship more as well.
Yep. And then they'll obviously have their own side quests and stories that are outside the main plot. Like I'm sure Harding's gonna be very much about list magic shit.
Yeah.
I would guess.
I'm sure that there will be a lot of dwarves that think that she's really cool for using magic, and a lot of dwarves that will be really not okay with her knowing how to use magic.
So yeah, that was a quick little companion thing, and this is a bit of the other parts of the lighthouse where your companions will be hanging out. Oh, that's the workshop where you upgrade items. I'll show that more later because I had a lot more that I could do. But you can run around here. Sorry if there's little cuts. I kept opening menus which I can't show. So if there's a weird little choppiness, I had to cut it out. But that's a little bit. I think it gets a little bigger. And like I said, there's rooms of things that were cut off and obvious like pathways that would open up later in the game, or there were certain like puzzles out there that I could do. So this is where you'll start with you'll have a quest on the side and you get to choose who you bring with you. If I hit inspect, I could change their abilities that they had like equipped to them at that moment. And you confirm your party and you head out into the crossroads. You don't necessarily have to. You can actually skip the crossroads altogether. This whole open world bit. If you just want to fast travel to where you're going, go ahead.
That's kind of fun.
If you wish. So this is it just gives you a little bit of what's going on in the crossroads. Yeah.
Okay,
Things aren't happy that you're here.
Yeah, here's the canonical reason why there is combat as you explore the crossroads.
Yeah, and so this is a little bit of extended gameplay of just checking out what exploring around is. So this is all optional. So like I can, I might be wrong, and I think you might have to go to the crossroads the first time to get to the fast travel points for these various places. But once you find them, you don't have to do anything else here. And you can just go straight there. But there's like a lot of side stuff to do. Oh, and this is also the first time I used the mage, so I'm like, what do I do?
A little bit of how do I do this? What's this magic?
One thing I failed to show in that video very much with the mage was he has a second weapon, a little dagger thing.
Okay.
That has like some kind of elemental ball with it. I think I use it some here in a minute. But it just seems so weird. I couldn't get my head around why it was useful, so I just stopped using it. That thing.
Yeah.
That definitely gets up in people's face a little more.
Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit faster, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there will be different equipment and skills and stuff that will do more.
So like I said, we have videos that go way more into the various parts of combat. You have your light attacks, heavy attacks, and you can combo them together. You can like hold down a button to charge up an attack, all that kind of stuff.
A lot of the standard ARPG stuff.
Yeah. You can block, you can parry, you can dodge.
The little MMO telltale signs of where an attack's gonna land.
Yeah, like on the ground. So like this is a little side bit that I just saw, and this will kick off a side quest that I show some of. I don't show all of because it's actually shows a cool bit of lore with Solus.
Kind of looked like you walked through like a cloudy gate from a Souls game.
That's why I was like, what is this? What am I walking into? That's totally the reason I did it. So the wolf obviously being Solus.
It's here?
Well, this is like we're seeing like a memory of the past.
Right. So do you know from whose perspective you're watching this, or just
I don't know. I think you're just somebody, because you're not Solus, because you'll see past Solus show up.
Right.
I won't lie to you. I wasn't so super paying attention to so much of what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got an entire new combat system to learn on the
Yeah,
fly while you're trying to take in as much info,
yeah. So that's why I didn't include a bunch. Well, I'll cut this eventually that we're not seeing the whole quest, so it doesn't spoil stuff for people because it's neat stuff to learn about Solus in here.
And I mean, I'm sure that all of this will also provide additional context for, what led him to perform the ritual at the start of the game.
I'm assuming that has to be part of it, where we're gonna be like, oh crap, maybe he did have a point or something.
Yeah. He was
Or
right the
like
whole time.
what's always kind of been the deal with his characters, like he has a point, but he's a very much a ends justify the means guy. That's
Okay.
hard to swallow.
Oh, and I'm sure that will contribute a lot to the morality of your own character, and
Yeah.
like whether your own character will agree or disagree if it's a worthwhile endeavor.
Yep. Oh no. There's the ultimate. The mage one's the most satisfying one. I don't know if it's the most effective, but it's satisfying. So I'll just shoot a beam.
I mean, who doesn't enjoy firing off a massive
Yeah,
like Kamehameha kind of beam?
dude. Exactly. So there's Solus.
Hmm.
I apparently didn't care.
Hey man, you saw loot.
Okay, so that memento, those are little things around. They have lore attached to them. You can like buy them from vendors and stuff too, and find them around the world. That's what you'll use to upgrade your upgrade shop, so it can further upgrade items that you have.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're just randomly around. I found a bunch of them, so it seems
Yeah.
like they're like all over the fucking place. And so this is just a little bit of like environmental interaction, little puzzle stuff that you'll find throughout the game. Because obviously it's not all combat all the time.
Yeah.
And yes, your companions have gear too that they all wear that's specific to them. So I'm not like swapping stuff out. Like say I'm playing a rogue and I have a bow, I can't then give my bow to Harding. She has her own gear path.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure that's true. Because like, if you look at piece of gear, it'll say whatever the name is, and in parentheses it'll say Harding or whatever
Okay.
on it.
But you
So
can
it's
get
for
more
them.
gear for those different partners out and about.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you run across them all the time. But I'll show some more of the character, the companion customization stuff later too.
Notice the big blood sack on the roof.
Yeah, it's trying to. Because like when you shoot with the range of the mage, like it kind of just shoots in the general direction you're going.
Yeah.
You don't have like a reticle like with the bow.
Yeah.
So it's just like trying to all line it up. Time to go. All right, so I cut it there. So there's some more lore stuff. But this is a little ways down the road on the crossroads, just moving about. It's just random stuff to do. This one I think you have to do to get through.
I mean, it seems like the way that the game is set up is that you can explore, but once you get to the point where it's like you just, like you're wanting to get to the end game.
Yeah.
It sounds like you'll be able to just do the end game.
Well, not even just the end game. Like once you just kind of get to various cities, like I'm going to Treviso, or like where certain areas you can go to in the world. When you have a quest that says, "Hey, fast travel there, or go make your way there through the crossroads,"
Okay.
it'll just say that every time. Like you can do whichever. The game doesn't care. But I think the crossroads, like it seems pretty humongous. Because I didn't show it at the beginning, but there's that watcher guy. I can't remember his name. Like the guardian of this place.
Mm-hmm.
He
Caretaker.
Yeah, the caretaker. He took me here to this section on a boat. So like this is one section of the crossroads, and others were locked to me. I didn't have access to them
Okay.
yet. So there's all kinds of places to go to. But generally, yes, this Veilguard is a mission-based game where you're getting a quest and you're going on a specific thing to a specific area, doing something.
And
But
then
even
kind
within levels, there's a lot of exploration
of okay.
and running around. It's not straight like just go down the straight path. There's quite a bit to see outside of it.
Because yeah, I mean, like that does kind of make me think of like that the same kind of Final Fantasy 16 style that you like explore around the world and you
In
get through
a
kind of the
bit.
semi-open world to a point, and then there's like okay, this is like a story mission in a place.
Kinda. I just say there's a lot more unique
Yeah,
environments in this
it is not as
going on.
linear.
Yeah. But I'm apparently lost. 'Cause I'm going back to the beginning. I gotta collect stuff.
Yeah,
You know?
that was it. You're like,
I
I
gotta
feel
get
like I
it.
missed $5.
Even though this I will have never have this save again, and me collecting that I will never get to use what I collected. I must have it.
God, I do that. I've done that before in previews. It's like, well, I've got to go over there. And it's like, no,
Of
you
course.
should just do the thing. You don't need to 100% complete speed run the fucking few hours that you have with the game before you never get this save file again.
Yeah. That's right. I
It
must
looks like
get its
Dr.
essence.
Manhattan.
Well, it's funny as he shows up. He looks like that some of the enemies you fight.
Hmm.
He's like cool.
Is that just because they're all like denizens of this realm kind of thing?
Seems to be. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I'm a Dragon Age lore expert. Someone must know. The lore is like insanely huge.
Yeah.
And I don't know it all.
Yeah, and like
But it's been so long since a Dragon Age thing. I'm like, certain things I don't really remember.
okay,
See,
yeah,
that's
so
some
there's
Harding.
one for Harding specifically. Oh, and it still does
Yeah.
that really nice like comparison, which is good.
Quick comparison, quick equip if you want to.
Yeah.
Because especially early game, like so much stuff is like bigger number, better. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Later gear is not that.
Yeah,
at all.
when it's less about the big number and more about the how does the synergy work?
Yep. Does it work with your build, or how does everything go together?
I get that for sure.
That's the champion we're looking for. Watch yourselves.
And then just
Another
for those
ogre.
who may not know about the health and the battle system, you were explaining that the yellow health bar is to do with like armor, and you need to do heavy attacks against it.
Heavy
and
attacks.
Then you get to the regular health.
And earlier on, they mentioned the blue bar or like teal colored bar is a barrier where you got to use like your ranged essentially to take it down real quick, or it will come back, and be a problem for you again.
Yeah.
But it's juggling those to get to the red health bar, which is their actual health.
I'm very impressed with how fast the movements are on the characters. And you were saying that you can like dodge, cancel out of animations and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so it's not like a Dark Souls like where you're stuck in animation or doing something. That cut so quickly because I stopped the recording of that boss fight because I had to go do my interview. So
if someone was interested in checking out that interview, where could they go?
They could check it out on TechRaptor, right? I interviewed the
Amazing
and the producer about the game and talk about the philosophy behind player choice and stuff. So this is upgrading. So they obviously just gave us a bunch of materials and said go wild,
right?
And upgrade whatever you want. So obviously you're not going to be upgrading this easily in the real game. But I was just going around looking at stuff. So if there's any time you guys just want to pause the video and like read what some of this does, like it's all wildly different things that they do. And it'll show you, like, you see what's getting upgraded on the side. I I don't remember how everything gets unlocked, like all those locked things. I think some of them has to do with level, some of them has to do with rarity, some of it has to do with like upgrading items. You can, if let's say you own this piece of armor already and you find it at a vendor, you could buy it and then use that as to upgrade also, like using a copy of something to put it into one you already have.
Okay.
Stuff like that. I mean, you can upgrade everything. Um, you can even upgrade if you see at the top; those are all your companions. You can upgrade their items also. And this is what your gear screen. You have your weapons, a helmet, your armor, a trinket, a belt, and 2 rings is what you'll be running around with. And then you have your dagger rune
Yeah.
things over there.
Yeah.
But so there's so much customization between what you can do. So like obviously that thing on the left is more like, hey, you're gonna be an archer, dude,
Yeah.
shooting stuff, and the other thing on the right, not so much. Like, and there's a lot of terminology here that I don't know what all of it means. Like they're talking about advantage and like there's so many terminology, like things you can customize. Speaking of, all of the companions have trees that are this expansive, every single one. And I think whenever you go out with a companion, they can have 2 abilities with them. So you can see like Davin here's got 5. When you venture out onto a quest or do something, you can have 2 at any one time. I think.
Okay.
I don't think it's more than 2. But yeah, so this is the upgrade path for them, and they all have it. It's kind of crazy. I was looking at Davin here because I hadn't seen him until this point. This is your Grey Warden warrior thing, and they all kind of loosely fit into the archetype of rogue warrior mage. But when I was doing the interview, they were telling me that they also want to make sure that they didn't just pigeonhole them to those, that they have their own past that affect what abilities they have. So they're gonna have things that are much different than just a standard warrior.
Yeah.
Or mage or whatever. Also, but the amount of customization you do to make this game play the way you want it to is crazy.
Yeah.
Like if
It's
you
definitely
are,
going to be people talking about all of their different builds and the different ways that abilities interact with each other,
yeah,
and
oh
videos
yeah,
of people styling on bosses and defeating them in
yep,
5 seconds because they were able to
and going
chain 8 different
which
abilities.
companions to bring with which abilities to help you out.
Yeah.
These are this is a faction specific vendor. I just want this. The last couple things I'm
Okay.
showing is just the vendors. So like you can every faction's got you got your own like reputation with them and stuff, which comes with their own gear and other things that you can buy. And you can up that partly by selling things to them, which I thought was funny that you could up your faction strength or call it their reputation with that faction. Otherwise, you're doing quests for them and whatnot, which will unlock more things for you. And every faction I think has a faction vendor of some
Okay.
sort in it. And then I think I showed just a basic vendor after this, where you could buy there's weapons and whatnot, and gear and all the stuff that you would assume you'd find. And also at yeah, it's like a standard one. This is that memento stuff I was talking about. That's what you use to upgrade the upgrade shop. So this caretaker power, that's what the mementos do. So some of them are in just shops randomly.
Okay.
Or you want to decorate the lighthouse.
Yeah.
All that stuff's in there. So that was
Fantastic.
just a quick overview. I'm sure there's stuff I didn't have probably. There was some sections of the game of when I was playing that we couldn't record that are not in there, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's Veilguard. It's a humongous game.
yeah, it seems like for fans of high fantasy, for fans of Dragon Age, like there's gonna be a lot going on, a lot to get into.
Yeah. And
I
I
think,
think everything that I saw or shown in any of these videos is like from the first less than third of the game.
wow, that's
So I have
insane.
who knows what all's out there. I have no idea. Like it seems massive. Well, like let's put it this way. The preview event that I went to, they let us play like 7 hours of gameplay. Unheard of. I was talking with some of the PR people, like, yeah, we've done 3 or 4 hours before, but 7 hours is wild. So
That's-
for one, that means they're very
yeah.
confident to me, which they should be because it's great. And two, it's a humongous game. It's like, oh, 7 hours, yeah, that's not enough to scratch the surface, really.
Yeah, and for them to give you those like vertical slices as well of like, here's the start of the game, here's level
Yeah.
20, here's level 30 is also like,
It's crazy.
you know, it's there, it's fleshed out, it is doing its thing. Very,
time.
very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, if you want to do more specific combat stuff, we have stuff for the warrior, for the mage, for the rogue. I have my general more impressions written up also about playing it, and I have a interview written up with the director of the game, and we talk about player choice and player agency and all that good stuff, and how they approached it in Veilguard.
Awesome.
All right.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that with me.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.